What is up, Internet Land? Zachamus Prime, aka Zachamus Prime, here with another Transformers video review for you. And today the figure that I'm reviewing is the Studio Series Soundwave from the Bumblebee movie. And this figure was one that I was actually kind of looking forward to for a while. And he's actually pretty dang nice. Just as a figure, just all around, pretty dang good figure. I like him. But, yeah, so this figure is from basically with the current wave that's out right now. The one that also comes with Blaster, I think. I don't know. I don't remember. Anyhow, I was excited to get this guy when he came out, and I've actually had him for a little bit and enjoyed him a lot. Though, when I got him, I actually thought that I scored a pretty lucky score, but now he's like practically clogging shelves in places. So, anyhow, but yeah, the aesthetics on him are really, really good. Just the sculpture overall is really on point, looks really nice. Colors are perhaps maybe a little vibrant. Some people have complained about like the hollowness in, the waffling in parts of him. But there's also like a kit out that will kind of fill in these gaps. And also give him slightly better tank mode. But I don't know. It hasn't been an issue with me. In terms of accessories, he comes with his trademark shoulder cannon. And this has got this just single peg here that comes out, and then you can put it over his shoulder to complete the Soundwave look. And then he comes with a gun like so, but I really think he should have come with a handgun that looks like this. Like, I really feel that basically what he should have come with is this. Like, that would have been perfect. But no, they decided to give us a more, I don't know, generic movie-looking gun. Molded in blue plastic. Painted with just, this dark grayish brown. It's actually two pieces of plastic sandwiched together, so that's why there's no, like, waffling in the gun itself. And you can hold that in either hand. And it all looks fine. The figure itself has actually got really good paint apps on the places where it's got paint. So it's got some paint like on the inside of the elbows. There's red striping around the front of the wrists. Some white paint app here with some red temple print. Red around there. Silver and red on his face. A little bit of gunmetal and silver on his head. Couple little subtle red paint apps on the back of his legs. There's a little bit of gold around there. There's other paint apps that don't show up unless you're in the alt mode, which is pretty nice. My favorite paint app on this whole thing, though, is this red detailing in here, but that's painted on the inside of this canopy, this glass, this clear piece here. And that just really makes that just pop so good. And then the last accessory comes with, the last accessory for this figure, it's not one that he comes with, is definitely going to be, let me move this camera down a bit. It's going to be this little Ravage guy here. Now, Ravage is actually a separate figure, but it's a, what do they call it, core class figure, but it's definitely an accessory for Soundwave. But because it's such a tiny figure with a whole lot of nothing to it, I've decided to review this figure in conjunction with that one. So let's look at him real quick, and he also has a really good looking sculpt actually, mostly in this dark gray kind of plastic with red highlights. The red highlights are not something that you see on Ravage, like pretty much ever, but I really like them. Some silvery parts for the lower legs and the tail. Looks really good. In terms of accessories, this figure only comes with these two little cannons which plug onto his hips, and then he also has this gun, which is not an accessory for this figure, though you can like plug it onto this little port on the underside of his chest if you desperately need someone to do with it. And this is part of the reason why I feel like Soundwave should have come with a barrel gun, because, let me move this bag up for a second, the only place that this goes is right here. But that's not how it's supposed to be. Like, this is the weapon, you know, this is the weapon end of his handgun. But it won't fit on this handgun, unless you want to plug it in like that, which is also stupid. So, really, it should have come with a second one of these that he could hold in his hand, and then this fits on the end to complete the look of that. But, I don't know. This particular piece really kind of bugs me. And I wish that they had done the whole setup a little bit differently, but they didn't. And, yeah. But anyhow, in terms of articulation, he's got an opening and closing jaw. His head will move up and down. He's got his front shoulders are on ball joints, so they'll go around. And then he's got a hinge joint for his elbow, hinge joint for his wrist, ankle, nothing in the middle. And then he's got his back legs are also on a ball joint, which leads them forward and back and then in and out a little bit. Hinge joint for the knee, hinge joint for this lower leg part, which is technically his ankle if you're looking at anatomy, and then this part would be his toe. And then his tail can move up and down slightly, and these are on just pegs that they can move up and down. So, not like super posable, but fairly posable. Certainly fairly posable for a, you know, mainline Hasbro figure. So, this guy also transforms up into a little box. And we're going to do that real quick. We'll take this piece off, and this just re-puts on the underside of his tummy. Now, to be perfectly honest, I don't have any problem whatsoever with the look of it sitting on the underside of his tummy. So when I'm playing with it on my terms, more often than not, I don't even move that thing. But you're going to move his head all the way down. His legs will fold backwards like so, and then there's a little peg here and a little hole on the inside of the leg. That little hole is going to fit onto that peg. Like so. And we'll do that for both front legs. And then for the back legs, what you want to do is you want to unclip them from his tail section here and move them all the way forward, so that they'll just basically come in and up as much as they can inside this section here. And then you've got little pegs on the lower part of his leg, and that peg is going to come up, and there's a hole right here. That peg is going to fit into that hole. And we're going to do that with the other leg as well. Curl this up, bend all that in, fit it in that hole. And now this little section is going to fold all the way down. The tail is going to tuck up towards his face. And then you're going to take these little guys and plug them back in. Not that side, we'll put them on this side, so that the little underlying cannon thing is facing out. And that is basically as boxy as he gets. So we'll bring the Soundwave back in. You push this button here on the side of his chest, flips that open. You can take Ravage and you can plug him in. Now once you plug him in, he is a little bit of a pain in the ass to get out. I mean, he does fit nicely, but he's a little hard to pull out, so you may want to open up the back to push him out from behind. But it all works out pretty well. And in terms of posability, his head is on a ball joint, so it will look up and down, rotate freely, maybe a little bit of side to side. His little gun cannon is on a hinge here. You can also rotate it about on this peg here, but there's no real need for that. His shoulders are on a universal joint, so they'll go out on this joint up here, like so. And then they'll come around on this joint here. You should be aware that there is a rotation of this shoulder armor part, and then there's a rotation of his actual arm. So make sure that you're grabbing it by his actual arm. He's got a bicep swivel here, double joint for the elbow, but it doesn't bring it up much more than 90 degrees. Still a fine amount, but you know, it's not like a super deep bend. And then he's got, oh, I thought he had a rotation on his wrist, but he does not. He does have this little skirt armor here, a little bit of a, well, I mean, his waist will go all the way around. When the skirt armor is in play, it'll only go so much before it starts interacting with that in some perhaps unforeseen ways. But his leg will go that far forward, that far back, come out for about 90% of a Thor. You got a thigh swivel here, double jointed knee, again not much more than 90 degrees, but you know, again, it's sufficient, just not like, you know, anything to write home about. Also, you can take this additional knee armor here and pull that out when you bend his knee, which is kind of cool. I bet you this will look great with a little bit of paint on it. I felt that this whole thing could do with like a bit of a wash and some weathering. And then his ankle will come back a lot, forward pretty much nothing, and then tilt for basically as much as you want. Plus it's got a rotation. You don't often see rotation on feats, so that's all pretty cool. To get him transformed up, the way you want to do it is you want to disconnect his gun from his back, and that's not going to be important here for the rest of this. You want to open up this the front and the back flaps on his shoulder armor, and then rotate just the shoulder armor. We can take his head and spin it around. And there are these two little pegs back here, and this little tab on the inside here. And that tab is going to come back and fit onto that peg. And then his arm is going to bend at the bicep swivel. Oh, let's put his hand away first. And then, so this is going to bend at this bicep swivel in combination with this elbow, so that this slot is going to go onto that tab right there. Boom, like so. Like so, like so. There we go. And then that is an arm all done. So let's do the same for the other arm real quick. Open these up, rotate just the armor, bring this back and tab that onto his back, put his hand away, rotate this at the elbow so that the forearm plugs into that tab. Now we want to take and open up this section here and open up this section here, and then this is going to rotate, and this is going to rotate, and then we're going to plug this back down. And the leg is going to transform like so. Basically what you're going to do with this is you're going to open up this panel here and pull out this panel here. And then you're going to be taking his foot and you're basically going to be turning his foot like so and then opening it out like so. So it comes out on this little ankle section here. And then you're going to fold in, you're going to rotate it out at the thigh. Fold it all the way in. Oh, I rotated it the wrong way. Yeah, we want to rotate it the other way. So the foot comes into where, the heel comes into where the foot was. So we're going to rotate this all the way around, and then you're going to mess with this double joint in his knee until this tab goes into this little slot right here in the bottom of his foot, which is going to be like so. There we go. Come on. And then last but not least, this little section is just gonna, there's a big old groove underneath his dick plate, and that's just going to sit into that groove. And I like to always fold these in a little bit. And so now we're just going to do the same with the other leg. So fold this out, take his foot, bring it out, rotate it, then plug it into where it used to be. Rotate this at the thigh, bring it all the way up on that double joint, and then just carefully finagle things until that tab goes into that slot. Bring this part in. These little sections will kind of plug into each other. And that, as they say, is that. Now they talk about plugging in your weapons here on the sides into these forearm holes, but I don't really like that personally. I like to plug them into these screw holes here and here. And sure, yeah, he turns into something that resembles, like, I don't know, like a brick or a hamburger, more than it resembles anything, you know, any kind of actual, more than it resembles any kind of an actual vehicle of some sort. I mean, I suppose you can say that's some sort of a hover tank. And I have, of course, seen add-ons, like unofficial aftermarket, you know, third-party add-ons that, you know, make it more like a tank or make it more like a thing or a doohickey or whatever you want to call it. I have no idea. One of the things that I like to do is if you take this and you open it up, you kind of do this, you can have Ravage transformed into his kitty mode, sitting in there like he's commanding it. That's always kind of fun. But yeah, all in all, its alt mode is kind of weird, but the robot mode is just really, really, really excellent. And actually, a lot of the figures from the Bumblebee movie have been turning out to be really, really good. So I may be picking up some of those, possibly. But anyhow, that's pretty much all I've got for this. Thanks everybody for watching. You guys are fantastic. Everybody, stay awesome and be good to each other. See ya.